Alright, bitches, so we're on to the next episode of Dragon Ball Super. This is episode 66, and this is called The Climactic Battle, The Miraculous Power of the Relentless Warriors. Now, okay, this episode has a lot of good in it, but it also has a lot of bad, borderline on bullshit. I am very, very disappointed. I actually waited. I wanted to, give a little longer to record this than I normally jump right in after the episode's done, but I had to sit here and ponder some things for a little bit. Vegito does return, but, alright, you know what? Let's just get into it, and as the problems come up, I'll delve into them. So the episode picks back up with Goku in his Super Saiyan Blue form in his Kamehameha clash with Zamasu's Holy Wrath, and Goku picks it up. He says he's going to put his full power into the blast, and it's able to pierce the Holy Wrath. It goes through Zamasu, the Holy Wrath, giant orb, similar to, Frieza's supernova or Beerus's, God of Destruction ball. It explodes in Zamasu's face, and the smoke kind of clears, and we see that half of Zamasu's face is now, purple, almost like a purple, sludge type thing. And Goku rushes in to keep the fight going, and he goes to hit Zamasu, but Zamasu just blocks it. And then Goku, I was really hyped right here. Goku actually does the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken and knocks the shit out of Zamasu, knocking him to the ground and breaking the halo, the white ring of light that he had on his back, that at least appeared to be amplifying his power or something along those lines. Now, the problem, though, is that Goku at that point is then out of power. I mean, it does make sense, the Kaioken, such a quick burst of power, very strenuous on the body, and Goku actually reverts to his base form, and he collapses, basically now at this point out of power. Zamasu at this point gets up and is furious. He explodes with rage. He screams Goku's name at the top of his lungs, and he does this weird thing, he's divine light, give me the power to crush the evil mortals. And you see, he gets enveloped in light, and his arm transforms into the same purple sludge thing. Now, then the scene cuts over. We see Goku is sitting with Vegeta, Kaioshin, Goasu, and Trunks. And Goasu starts explaining what's going on with Merge Zamasu here. Basically, he says that even though Zamasu was immortal, Goku Black was not. So when they fused, Goku Black's, him being mortal is overriding Zamasu's immortality. So Merge Zamasu, it looks like, is not actually immortal. The Goku Black portion of him is fucking him up. And looks like it's not related to Black being in his Super Saiyan transformation at the time. It's strictly just because one was immortal and one was not immortal. And Goasu basically implies that if they put enough damage on him, they'll be able to beat him. It'll override his regeneration, his, quasi-immortality, whatever it is that you want to say. So Goku then goes, aha, I got it. Vegeta, let's fuse with the Potara to match their fusion. Now, here is where, I'm standing up. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Vegito time, baby. Potara Fusion. Goku takes one of the earrings, puts it on. Vegeta kind of puts up a little bit no, I said I'd never fuse with you again, ever. And Goku's just kind of yeah, but we have to do it. We can't beat him, you know that. And, it's funny, Vegeta is beaten very quickly in there. But then here's the problem. Alright, I didn't like this. Goku turns to Goasu and says, last time we fused, they said we wouldn't be able to, separate. Why did that happen? And Goasu then explains that if you use the Potara, as a Kaioshin, the fusion, will be permanent. But if you're not a Kaioshin, a Supreme Kai, then the fusion will only last an hour. And it's oh, come on! They're gonna retcon this now? I understand it's to limit Vegito's power, because let's be clear, I'm pretty sure Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, he easily could destroy Beerus, something like that. But Okay. So, all right. There's some things we got to discuss with this. This review, I feel like, is going to be quite long because I almost wonder if I should do a separate video on this. I'm kind of flabbergasted. So, Old Kai, right? Old Kai has been shown to know basically everything. And the reason that Kaioshin doesn't really know as much as Old Kai is because he wasn't able to complete his training as a Kaioshin because of Boo killing all of the other Kaioshins that were around. So, this is why Old Kai has this big wellspring of knowledge to pull from that, our Kaioshin doesn't. So, when he gives the Potara to Goku in Dragon Ball Z, the implication is that Goku is going to be fusing with Gohan. That was the plan. And he tells Goku the fusion will be permanent. He would know. He would fucking know if the fusion wouldn't be permanent with mortals. Goku discusses doing the fusion dance, and the Old Kai thinks that the dance wouldn't work. The time limit is not good, and Boo wouldn't let them do the dance. But the Old Kai would know that this fusion has a time limit just like the fusion dance does. So that's the problem with this retcon, is the fact that Old Kai, it's, I don't want to say it's making him look incompetent, but it doesn't line up. Like, this is actually, there's no dancing around it. This is, what you would call, like, a plot hole. Like, this is bad, okay? Bulma having a sister and how that related to her knowing someone who had a spaceship, back in the Saiyan saga, when it's like, oh, if we gotta go to Namek, we just call Jacko. Like, there's been tons of stuff like this throughout Dragon Ball Super. But this is bad, because just an excuse to limit Vegito's power because Vegito is unstoppable. At this point, why not just do the dance and do Gogeta? Like, no one would complain if Goku goes, Vegeta, let's fuse, we'll use the fusion dance. Okay, cool, like, Gogeta. I would rather see Vegito, but not if they're gonna bring out this retcon that basically kind of takes away what was special about him. So now it's just one of these temporary power-ups instead of a new character altogether. This almost feels to me like Toriyama wrote the storyboard and handed it in to Toei and to Toyotaro, and in it, the storyboard probably said something along the lines of, Goku Black and Zamasu fuse using the Potara, beats their ass, Goku and Vegeta then fuse, and fights Zamasu before the fusion, ends. I feel like, am I crazy in thinking that Toriyama might have been intending for this to be Gogeta and not Vegito? That honestly is what it seems like to me, because they just put in this arbitrary time limit on Vegito now, just basically so that he can't, finish Zamasu off. I mean, I'm getting a little ahead of myself with what happens later in the episode, but we'll halt it for now and continue on. So Goku and Vegeta, they eat the last two senzu, so they both get restored to full energy, and they both put the Potara on, and they fuse, and it is great, okay? Because Vegito comes out, Yosha! The same line he uses when he appears, back in Dragon Ball Z. And he's standing there posing, looking like a fucking badass. And Zamasu's like, who are you? And I love it. He's got to say it. I'm the fusion between Vegeta and Kakarot Vegito. And then he goes, and this is Vegito Blue. And then he goes Super Saiyan Blue. That shit was so dope. So, like, there's bad in this episode, but the good is really, really strong, man. And Zamasu, he just kind of scoffs and like, okay, don't assume that'll allow you to stand up to the power of a god. And he shoots a holy wrath at Vegito, and Vegito just catches it with his hand and, like, explodes it. Like, already, like, we could see, like, Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, nah, bruh. He's not to be fucked with. So we do see Trunks sort of thinks to himself, like, oh, the fusion between Goku and Father, what unbelievable energy. And it goes to Zamasu, and he goes on another one of these speeches, and he's talking and talking and talking, And then all of a sudden, Vegito just fucking sneaks his ass so bad. And he's just like, oh, sorry, you were way too open right there. And I was like, oh, man. You know, kind of like the Goku against Raccoon, or like just Vegito, his attitude, like he acts exactly the way he did against Boo in the Boo Saga. Like, this shit is so good. That moment was incredible. And, you know, Zamasu is hot now. So he gets up, and it's really pretty good animation for most of the bits here as they're going back and forth. You know, Vegito's punching. He mushes Zamasu down to the ground, and he kind of insults him like, what's the matter? Is this all the power a god would have? And you gotta love it, because Zamasu goes, don't be pretentious. And it's like, oh, how fucking dare you? You, of all people, are gonna tell someone not to be pretentious? Zamasu, you can suck a fat D for that one. This motherfucker can't go 2 minutes without going through one of his long-ass speeches. And then Zamasu sort of explodes with power, like he does like a fist clash with Vegito, and he sort of gets a hit in on Vegito, and Vegito falls to the ground, and he's kind of just laying there for a while. And Zamasu is like, it's over, mortal. And he creates Goku Black's energy blade, and he's going over to go slice him, and you see it real quick, boom, shoots right out of Vegito's hand. The motherfucking spirit sword, baby. Just like in Dokkan Battle. And Vegito smirks and he's like, even I can do this. And it's like, oh, god damn. This is what the fuck I'm talking about. You know, the one reason that they for sure are bringing Super Saiyan Blue Vegito in here, the toys, the video games, like, can you imagine how good Super Saiyan Blue Vegito is going to be in all these damn games? You know, he just busts out the Spirit Sword like this. And him and Zamasu have a little back and forth now. And I love it. Zamasu, you know, Vegito, okay. I am hype. Like, while Vegito's on screen, my hype levels are at full maximum. I see no evil, hear no evil. The show is incredible. But the second Vegito's not off screen, that's where the rage is going to come out. Right now, Vegito's on screen, shit is dope. Vegito notices that he's in pain, and he asks him, like, oh, aren't you immortal? And Zamasu, again, you know, he laughs, smirks, and goes into another speech, talking about how he's immortal, he's going to erase, you know, all the mortals, all that shit. And Vegito's kind of like, you numbskull, not only are you not immortal, but you're an idiot. You don't even realize, now that you're fused, he'll always be inside you, a mortal named Son Goku. So it's like, you know, this psychological warfare he's trying to hit him with right there. And Zamasu, this is like the ultimate sign of just how really full of himself Zamasu is. Like, he says that's the entire idea. You know, he basically is trying to portray himself as like Jesus Christ right here. Like, I will take on all of the sins of the mortals, and I'll cleanse the universe, cleanse everything, the failure of the gods. I will bring it all onto myself. And it's like, oh man, Vegito, you need to shut this boy up. He is getting way too into himself here. Now it cuts over to Goasu and the Kaioshin, and Goasu basically starts talking about how Zamasu's outer form is starting to take on his attitude and his feelings on the inside of his hatred and, you know, his just crazy complex thoughts on mortals. And, you know, that I think is an interesting little line of dialogue that Goasu's spitting out here. But I like how now Goasu is just, you know, now this motherfucker knows everything, huh? You couldn't tell when Zamasu was sitting 2 feet in front of your ass that this man was evil, but now you know everything, huh, Goasu? Like, get the fuck out of here. Then at this moment, Bulma and Mai show up. Mai has the broken handle of Trunks' sword that she got from the little girl, and Bulma has the time machine, and it appears to be fixed. Now, Mai gives Trunks the, you know, the broken part of the sword, and Trunks focuses, like, energy into it, and kind of, he creates, like, an energy blade now. So all 3 fighters on the battlefield are using, like, energy blades simultaneously. Like, this is, it's getting a little crazy. But then it cuts back to Vegito, and Vegito, he's just beating on that ass, giving him the 1-2, 1-2, knocking his ass into the ground, and then he jumps back, and I love it. He calls it out, final Kamehameha, and oh my god, I love that they took this basically video game exclusive attack, and they actually put it onto his character, and it looks so dope. Because it's the Kamehameha blast, and then it's got, like, yellow, like, the final flash is, like, circling around it. It looks way too dope. But Zamasu, he's able to survive, and he jumps upward. And at this point, Vegito does the instant transmission, goes over there, kicks him, and then he says, this'll finish it, and he charges energy in his fist. And I'm sitting here, I stood up. I was like, oh, shit, he's about to use the Dragon Fist, too. Oh, God. And then the fusion reverts, and they turn into Goku and Vegeta, and Zamasu quickly just suns them with his big slime hand, and just crushes both Goku and Vegeta down to the ground. Kaioken then goes, what happened? It hasn't even been an hour yet, and Goasu goes, they've used up all the power of the fusion. Are you fucking kidding me? So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take arguably the worst moment of Dragon Ball GT, and we're now gonna bring it here into Dragon Ball Super. The worst thing about GT, in my opinion, is that Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta do the fusion. They create Gogeta, the ultimate fighter, who plays around. Then the fusion only lasts 5 minutes, of the 30-minute time limit that it's supposed to last, because Gogeta's power is too high. And then they just do a rehash of the finale with Boo by having Goku use the Spirit Bomb, yada, yada, yada. So they do the same shit. Essentially, this is the same fucking thing. Vegito is too powerful, so they create this fusion character who's basically too strong for the fusion to sustain itself, so it breaks apart. Like, come on, no! There's so many interesting things they could have done. Just have Vegito finish Zamasu off. Don't you fuckers want to see Vegito interact with Bulma, with Chi-Chi, with Gohan? When Goku and Vegeta became Vegito in Dragon Ball Z, everyone was dead or absorbed into Boo. Vegito and Boo, Dende, and Mr. Satan, that was it on the planet. That's all that was on Earth. We could have seen really interesting scenes with Vegito, and, then they could have gotten the Namekian Dragon Balls, the Earth Dragon Balls, Super Dragon Balls to defuse them, whatever. We could have maybe seen Beerus, like, shocked and in awe of Vegito's power. Like, wow, man. Honestly, what I think, Toriyama intended this to be Gogeta. I am very curious to see what happens in the Dragon Ball Super manga. I need to know. I would bet either it's Gogeta in the manga or they don't even fuse at all. I really could see the fact that they don't even fuse in the manga, because this is almost disgraceful. I mean, Vegito, while he was on screen, he was knocking ass, man. There is no doubt there. But he was around for under 10 minutes. Like, craziness. Let a character like that at least have a little screen time. Damn. So it looks like Merge Zamasu is about to finish them off with Goku Black's Energy Blade. And he slices down to kill Goku and Vegeta. And Trunks blocks it with his, new Energy Blade. Which does look fucking sick, by the way. No doubts there. And they have, like, a little sword fight with, Goku Black's Energy Blade, Trunks' Energy Blade. And they're going on and on. And it's actually pretty interesting. And, Trunks basically is declaring how, he's not going to lose. He needs to protect humans, all that. And Trunks starts powering up. And for a second, I actually thought, like, oh, shit. Like, is Trunks about to go Super Saiyan Blue? Because he's, like, powering up. There's this weird light. And then, another moment. It's like, what the fuck? Why? It goes to all the humans. You see Yajirobe and everyone. Trunks is glowing in a weird way. All the humans are glowing in a weird way, and they say, oh, this is Trunks' light, this is Trunks' light. And it cuts over to Trunks, and for some reason, I don't understand why, they even show, like, Android 8. They show Turtle at Kame House. All the energy coming off of them. And I realized, oh, shit, this is a spirit bomb. And Trunks and Zamasu, they look up. And I don't know why. There's a spirit bomb. What? Why is there a spirit bomb there? This came out of Trunks. So Trunks' resolve allowed him to, like, this doesn't make sense. This is the third moment in this episode that I'm like, what? Why? There's so many different routes they could have gone with that made sense. But the spirit bomb basically appeared for no reason. That's what happened. And then Trunks he jumps into the spirit bomb, he basically absorbs it, and then he cuts Zamasu in half. And it's like, it is epic, like, how Trunks did that. Like, there's no doubt. And this spirit bomb blade that he uses is awesome. And the stuff Trunks is saying is great. Him defending mortals, saying, someone as selfish as you can't beat a mortal. Stuff like that, like, was awesome. But why is he using a spirit bomb blade? Why is that happening? This is making me... I'm definitely going to be a little more guarded in the future of Dragon Ball Super, because this arc was incredible up until this point where the wheels came off. Like, everything just fell apart here. Like, damn. I honestly... I was going to say I'd rather they just not have even brought Vegito out, but, they didn't do Super Saiyan Blue Vegito justice here in the show. Maybe if we see him again, they can redeem, this moment and actually have Vegito do something. That would be fucking sick. Although, I doubt we'll see Vegito again. But, at the very least, he is going to be incredible in all the video games. So, this has added something pretty fucking big here. So that's how the episode ends. Trunks cutting Zamasu in half with the spirit bomb sword, which, if someone just walked up to me a year ago and said, the next, new arc of Dragon Ball is going to be, two universes fighting, then the arc after that is going to be a future Trunks arc with evil Goku, Vegito's going to come back, and Trunks is going to finish off the enemy with a spirit bomb sword. I would have said, yo, let me in there. Give me a time ring so I could come to the future and see that shit. Somehow, Vegito showing back up and the spirit bomb blade just wasn't as cool. It wasn't as great as it should have been. And the other thing too, no one can argue this with me. I think Dragon Ball Super is the worst paced show I've ever seen. Anytime they get to something incredible, they fly right through that shit. But they spend way too much time on stuff that's inconsequential. It's slow during moments that don't matter, and way too quick during moments that do matter. Very disappointing. Although, again, I don't want to be too negative, but there are things that have to be brought up. I've done a little looking around, and a lot of people feel the same way I do, that there's some, ass pulls, as people call them in this episode. And for sure there are. But, at the end of the day, the 10 minutes Vegito was on screen was incredible. Vegito is incredible. There's no denying that. Then in the preview for the next episode, it is sad because from a couple of shots we see of Whis, Beerus, Goku and Vegeta in new clothes, it looks as though the arc is ending with the next episode. And we also do see a shot of Zeno, the Omni King. There were some leaked spoiler details of upcoming episodes of Dragon Ball Super, next week's in particular, about Goku finding something in his pocket. Looks like that is indeed going to be the Zeno button. So he's going to call Zeno, and I guess Zeno will fix whatever problem happens, even though Trunks did kind of defeat Zamasu with the Spirit Bomb Blade. Hopefully, next week's finale of this arc, hopefully they somehow bring me back. I'm just really disappointed with the Vegito retcon and the Spirit Bomb Blade, which came out of nowhere, but it was so awesome. Again, as time goes on, I think the Spirit Bomb Blade, I'm gonna grow to love that more and more. The time limit on Vegito, I'm not gonna love, but I am gonna love the Spirit Bomb Blade and Super Saiyan Blue Vegito in all games. So whatever, I'll end it for now. I'll see you guys next week. Dragon Ball Super, win me back over, please. But stop doing these stupid. They create these problems for no reason. They didn't need to bring back the Room of Spirit and Time. They didn't need to put a time limit on the Potara Fusion. Ah!